When my sister and I met with the manager at the assisted living care home where my mom lives and shared with her the tracker where we were sharing stories, examples, dates, and all the details of the different challenges that we'd run into, it was clear really quickly that retraining for the staff was important. So I'm going to share what we tracked, how you can track it, and why we track it, not only for situations like this, but this will help you to prep for doctor's appointments and just to know overall what are the themes and what are the changes that are happening with your loved one as you progress through this horrible disease. So I'm going to share the tracker. You can actually download this template that I'm sharing for free at our disruptdementia.com website. We have found it to be absolutely invaluable as we've gone through this journey together. So let me pop it up here on the screen. So here's the tracker. You can see we are tracking a whole bunch of things. Uh, you can see the checklist on the right. And I'll explain to you kind of why we chose these things to track and how we use it so that maybe it can be of help to you. So first of all, obviously the date. We have time of day so we can get a sense of like are certain things happening in mornings or afternoons or that sort of thing, or maybe it's just all day, so it's not relevant. A little brief description of what happened. Sometimes we're more detailed in this, especially if we wanted to give clear examples of what to say or what not to say when it came to care or overcoming resistance to care for our mother. We will occasionally save the video of what happened because we do have a video. We had a video in our home and now we have a video in her home so that we can take the clip of that and use it if needed for help with training or help with understanding what's going on. So sometimes we will save a video to our shared drive and link it here so we can both see. And then we have all of these different categories that we track. So when you have your appointments with your care coordinator or your specialist doctor, oftentimes they'll ask about a few specific areas. They'll often ask about mood, depression, anxiety, that sort of thing. They'll ask about cognitive ability and forgetting and those sorts of things. They'll ask about functional ability and ability to understand things and do things. And they'll ask about things like sleep and about sort of physical abilities. So we're tracking a lot of that sort of thing for the doctors as well as our own knowledge. But I'll start here. So mood, we just have a little drop down. So it's really quick to see like, oh, there's a lot of green in the last month. A lot of anxiety is happening lately or that sort of thing. We have a checkbox for whether external care was involved or not. This especially was helpful when we moved to first having PSWs come into my mom's home, which didn't work very well for us, to be honest, and then uh, for use at the assisted living care facility, so that we can just check, is this something to bring up to the facility when we met with them. We do have a column of bathroom incidents. This was helpful in trying to understand as we got into continence care, when were accidents happening? When would it be good for staff to look after supporting our mother with that? Were there trends in the time of day and how was that care progressing? We have falls, super important. This was one of the core things that helped us realize we probably needed to consider moving our mother when she was starting to have falls more often at home. And it also helps as we go to doctor's appointments and see the amount of falls that are progressing now. Functional issues. So this could be things like ability to use the remote control, phone, all of those sorts of things. This was something we tracked a lot at the beginning of our mother's dementia because these were some of the first things that happened for her. Funny moments. This is an interesting one. We find this journey is so challenging and so hard and so emotional. So if you can find some things to laugh about and to have kind of heartwarming moments about it is worth tracking those as well as all the horrible things that go along with this. So we'll track things, funny things our mom said, or little moments that we have that bring some humor to this journey. And so it's a little strange, but I do recommend you track that so you have something to look back on that gives you a bit of a smile. Getting lost or forgetting. So, again, for our mother, this was one of the things that we were seeing happen more often when she lived at home. We found that we could not leave her alone because she would wander and get lost, or she couldn't go out for a walk anymore because she would get lost. She would forget appointments, forget that we were there, all kinds of things. Hallucinations, delusions. This is to varying degrees with different dementias. For our mother, originally they thought she had Lewy body dementia, which has a lot of hallucinations, delusions, and like kind of acting out in sleep. And so we were tracking this, and so again, something important to track. It might help to diagnose or to understand what's happening. We have a column for language and words because as dementia progresses as well, and depending on the form, this might happen sooner or later, but they will probably lose some of that ability to communicate. So we're tracking a lot of that now with our mother. She is losing a lot of words or sometimes speaking in nonsense. So we're tracking that sort of thing. Nightmares, sleep. Again, with different kinds of dementia, you want to track some sleep disruptions, understand what happens overnight for your loved one. And then finally, our last column is around not knowing people. And so we might put in the what happened, who was not known or what happened. For us, this has actually been one of the later things to happen, our mother not knowing us. So we're starting to track that and how often does she still know us or that sort of thing. So this has been so helpful to us when we're in a doctor's appointment and they say, has she had any falls? We can very quickly look down our falls column and say, yes, on this date, this date, this date. We know what happened because we've got that description. When we met with the care home, we were able to say, this is what's working well, this is what's not working well. So we were able to give them really specific and helpful feedback for retraining and upskilling their staff. And we use this constantly because there's two of us, my sister and I. When we have different things happen with our mom, we always put it in the tracker so the other person can be aware of what's happening. It kind of keeps us both in the loop on the different incidents that are occurring. This is a horrible journey to be on, but if there are some tools to help, we want to share as much as we've learned that can help you as much as it's helped us. And this is one of those tools that's been really essential to us, and I hope it's helpful to you.